this Mudh-Nyoma airbase has been inaugurated in the Ladakh region, and it is close to China border. This is the most significant part of it. When I say border infrastructure, I don't only mean roads. I also mean airstrips. I also mean railway lines. Connectivity in all forms should be there. And airstrips capable of landing military aircrafts, like you can see this C-17 Globemaster, as well as fighter jets. Both should be able to take off and land. Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh, Chief of Air Staff, inaugurated the Mudh-Nyoma airbase in Ladakh on November 12, 2025. He landed a C-130J Special Operations aircraft to mark the inauguration. This is a military aircraft, a huge military aircraft. This is what you can see. Airbase is located at an altitude of 13,700 feet, about 23 kilometers from line of actual control. This is the most significant part of it. Now in 2020, when there were Galwan Valley clashes between India and China, India, was constructing a road from Darbuk to Daulat Beg Oldi. And the Chinese have a problem when you construct border infrastructure. They have a serious problem because, they have the border infrastructure, and due to that border infrastructure, they have an edge over others like India. And unfortunately, India has been struggling in border infrastructure. 1962, we fought a war with China, and the main reason for loss to China was lack of border infrastructure in India. And due to that lack of border infrastructure, we were not able to, make the supplies reach the people or our soldiers. We were not at times not able to make the soldiers reach the borders. Very recently, there is a movie, 120 Bahadur, and that Farhan Akhtar is there in that movie. Basically, the main theme of that movie is that those 120 people fought that massive Chinese army. Why? Because that massive Chinese army was massive because of their border infrastructure. They were able to reach the borders, and our army was not able to reach them, those 120 people which were there in the forward posts. So it becomes very, very important to have border infrastructure if you have to create deterrence. And this Mudh-Nyoma airbase is definitely a feather in the cap of India's border infrastructure creation, and it was very much needed. Project details: 218 crore. Cost was foundation laid by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh in September 2023. And let me tell you that this is not a greenfield project, it is a brownfield project. Greenfield means we have built it from scratch. It is not such. It was already there, we just upgraded it. Let's see. Project execution led by a team of women officers. This is the best thing I saw in this. From the Border Roads Organization. Runway 2.7 kilometers long, capable of handling fighter jets, transport aircrafts and helicopters. All kind of, aircrafts will be handled. Light infrastructure, there are hangars, air traffic control building, hard standing for aircraft and vehicles, all is there. The base upgrades are part of India's strategic infrastructure push in the border areas. After the military standoff with China, April-May 2020, this is what we call as Galwan Valley clashes. So, this is what you should know. Location on map. This is very important. So, this is LAC, line of actual control. This is Aksai-Chin region, which is occupied by China since 1962 war. This is the location of Nyoma airbase. It is near to LAC. Here is China, near to China from here. So that is what makes it very, very important. Strategic importance of this. It is a forward location. It's closer to LAC than Leh, in a flatter valley suitable for fighter and transport operations. The valley is comparatively flatter, and in such flatter valleys, aviation becomes easy. Okay. Rapid deployment enables quick launch of interdiction strikes and troop and equipment insertion in forward areas. You can, easily and quickly deploy the forces over there. Military mobility supports roads, bridges, tunnels, airfields and helipads built in border areas to enhance logistics and soldier facilities. So border infrastructure, as I told you, is not only roads, it is roads, bridges, tunnels, airfields, helipads, everything. And helipads, airfields are here in this particular airfield, which enhances mobility. Now, according to Air Marshal Anil Chopra, retired, Nyoma will be a crucial airbase for India's forward operations. Forward operations means border, on the border operations. Historical context. So as I told you that it is not a greenfield project. So Nyoma airstrip was inactive for decades after 1962 India-China war. It was there in 1962 India-China war, but after that it was inactive. Reactivated by IAF in September 2009 when AN-32 transport aircraft first landed there. Means it was already there, this particular airstrip. But BRO Chief Lieutenant General Raghu Srinivasan called Mudh-Nyoma one of the most important projects in Ladakh sector. And now it has been upgraded. 2.7 kilometer long airstrip capable of landing the military aircrafts, and India has the world's largest military aircraft in the form of C-17 Globemaster, capable of landing and taking off the fighter jets. Then it has hangars, it has concrete parkings for the fighter jets. So all this is there. Regional security developments. Indian Army resumed patrols in Demchok and Depsang in 2024. So I'll take you to that only, map, the actual map. So basically, Depsang Plains is over here. So India was building this road from Darbuk to Daulat Beg Oldi. Daulat Beg Oldi is over here. Okay. This is DBO. And this is Galwan Valley, where these Chinese, they came in. They said that this is not the LAC. This is not the LAC, the red line which I have drawn. They said that this is the LAC. They shifted the LAC. Why? Because they wanted direct access of this road, which was being built by India. This is what they wanted. And when they said that this is the LAC, that they started coming here inside India's border to patrol. Basically, border guarding on India-China border is done like in this way, that till the point you are going for patrolling, it is your jurisdiction. So the Chinese soldiers started coming to up till this point, the black line which you are seeing, which is inside India. And here is Galwan Valley, where the clashes happen. And here is Galwan Valley. So Galwan Valley mein, after these clashes started in 2020, in 2022 there were talks between Indian military officers and Chinese military officers. Talks were continued, but after the 16th round of talks, the Chinese soldiers agreed to retrieve back from patrolling point 15 in 2022. Okay. So PP15, patrolling point 15 say the Chinese retracted back in 2022. Okay. But the Chinese were still there on Depsang and Demchok. Depsang plains are here. These are Depsang plains. Demchok is somewhere here. Okay. The Chinese were still here inside Depsang and Demchok, and finally in 2024 there was a patrolling agreement signed between India and China, and then from Depsang and Demchok they retracted back. This is what that point actually meant. Indian Army resumed patrols because here Chinese buildup was there, so we had to stop patrolling. But we resumed patrolling in Demchok and Depsang in 2024 after over 4 years. The fourth and final round of disengagement from patrolling point 15 in Gogra Hot Springs occurred in 2022, ending the negotiation deadlock. And China has also enhanced its border infrastructure with air bases, missile sites, roads, bridges, bunkers, and ammunition depots. Chinese side though, it is very developed, the border infrastructure, to be very clear, to be very frank. And due to that development of border infrastructure on the Chinese side, they have an edge over us. Broader implications. India's border infrastructure push includes faster strategic project execution. See, 2023, that project Mudh-Nyoma airfield expansion was inaugurated, and 2025 we have inaugurated it. Improved military mobility, enhanced living conditions for soldiers, better conservation and deployment of modern weapons. All these are part of the border infrastructure push of India. The Defense Ministry in 2024 described the LAC situation as stable but sensitive. Stable hai because after signing of this, patrolling agreement in 2024, after Chinese disengagement happened in Depsang and Demchok, we said that it is stable but it is sensitive. But this simply means that India needs to upgrade its border infrastructure over there. India continues to pursue permanent solutions for broader demarcation and structured engagement with China. So we need to find permanent solutions and we need to structure our engagement with China. China is one such country which is having expansionist tendencies. And China has this 5-finger policy, according to which China claims over 5 territories: Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim, Ladakh, Nepal, Bhutan. These are the 5 fingers, and the palm is Tibet. Tibet to China has undertaken it under its control. But China eyes these 5 more territories. So let's see, how we counter China's expansionist tendencies in these territories.